and welcome to talkBULL, your weekly Premier League darts podcast, which will be coming to you every single Friday from now until the end of May. My name is Harry Durham, and with me is two-time major winner and former world number one, Colin Lloyd. Coming up, we'll take a look at all of the latest results from the Premier League darts as Nathan Aspinall masters Manchester. What an incredible night for the Asp, and to be honest with you, he deserved it. And I mean, I'm not saying that just because he hasn't won a night yet. For a bloke that's been playing well all season, if it's in Europe, if it's in the Premier League, congratulations to the app. And also, the app. I meant to say the ASP. It was a late night last night, ladies and gentlemen. What can I say? No alcohol was inhaled. But listen, it was a mental night. Forgive me for saying the app and not the ASP. And as always, we'll be looking ahead to night 11 as we go to Rotterdam, Michael van Gerwen's home crowd. Do us a favour, drop us a subscribe, like the video, comment as well, because Colin Lloyd is on the other end of this call. Cole. I mean, Nathan Aspinall, first of all, how are you, my friend? Lovely to see your face on this Friday morning, but that was something special from Asp last night, Cole.
Morning, Harry. Yeah, it was a funny night to start off with, wasn't it, really? There was a few missed doubles, a few loose shots and whatever, but listen, the dogged determination of the Asp, Nathan Aspinall, it won through the night. He openly admitted that things have been a little bit iffy, but the last 3 or 4 weeks, he said it, and in some ways he's probably right. He's probably been the best player in the world with the performances he's been putting in. And last night, I think, was the icing on the cake. And I think we can categorically say that the Asp is back and he's booming again.
It was just inevitable at one point. If we finished this Premier League season without him winning a night, especially as the couple of finals that he'd gotten to, it would have felt like a proper darting injustice, I would have thought. Yeah,
quite possibly. But listen, it's the top players in the world, mate, isn't it? It's the top players in the world. Yeah. You're not guaranteed anything. You can go up. You can put in a performance. We can have a little look, at Luke Humphries. I mean, his first match last night with Stephen Bunting was unbelievable. But then against Littler, and in some ways against Nathan Aspinall, I'm certainly not taking anything away from Nathan Aspinall. There were times where he looked like he was a rabbit caught in the headlights.
It was really bizarre.
Yeah, from putting in a blistering performance like that against Bunty, then it went back to like hit and miss what we've been seeing for the past few weeks. But listen, he'll be happy again. But last night, like you say, it was all about Nathan Aspinall. Good solid performances, and listen, he's going to be a threat now, I think, for the rest of the year. For not only to win that European event, the Euro Tour the other week, but to now win one of the nights at the Premier League. That'll give him so much more confidence. He knows he's been playing well, but he just needed that extra little bit of luck. And he's got that luck. I'm not saying it's all luck, but he's got that little bit of luck where he's got 2 big wins now, and he can build for the rest of the year on them.
Just want to say, so clinical against Rob Cross in his opener. 100% checkout rate against Crossy at the same time as well. Clutch, double 16. Bullseye finish on the 130 as well. Then goes 3-0 up against Michael. Still 100% checkout rate. After 9 legs, across 2 games, 100% checkout rate. Then didn't secure the double 12. Nathan, you are absolutely rubbish! I mean, how are you going to do a 100% checkout rate and then bottle it like that? Nathan, I'm joking. It was, Carl, I messaged you last night whilst I was watching it, and I was like, it was almost like, kind of like bionic. It was like a robot just performing up there. I don't think we've seen an outer ring performance like that for a very long time of a 100%, because everyone's always fluctuating between sort of like a 30 to 35%, but 100%, it was kind of just, it was a joy to watch. It was just like a master. It was like a marksman, wasn't it? Like it's almost like you wanted to give him the name the sniper, for goodness sake, because you put him in any situation, he'll be able to find his target. He could have done it blindfolded, for goodness sake.
Yeah, he was throwing some great stuff. And just touching on, you messaged me, you hounded me all night. All night I was trying to watch and enjoy the darts.
Oh, shut
and
up! It was me. It was all. Oh, shut up! It was back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
all love.
The thing that he psyched himself up for it a little bit, didn't he? He kept going up to the board. His arms started to come up, and then he stepped back, recomposed himself, and bang! And like you say, 9 legs on the spin with 100% checkout rate. I don't care what anyone says. That's hurtful, and it wasn't just on the outer ring, Harry. There was a couple of bullseye finishes as well. And when someone's doing that against you, and they're averaging pretty decent as well, it knocks the stuffing out of you a little bit. He was clinical in what he was doing. I mean, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. In the final game against Luke, he's 3-0 down. He's averaging mid-70s, looking like he's just happy to reach the final.
Yeah.
But in the space of 3 legs to make it 3-all, he's banged that average up from mid-70s to over 100. That's phenomenal throwing. That's phenomenal darts, that is. And that just goes to show what he's capable of doing. All of a sudden then he just settled into the match. And in some respects, he's sort of like he took Luke to the cleaners. Luke was still getting opportunities, but Nathan was applying so much pressure that he started to make Luke miss and make mistakes. But yeah, I mean, sniper for those first 9 legs is a very apt nickname, that would be, yeah, because he was clinical.
It's almost like he didn't have a scope at the same time as well. I think you're a bit too old to remember Call of Duty, but there was a case of when you're playing the game, you had no scope someone, so you wouldn't use the scope to sniper someone, and it was just like I said, he could have done it blindfolded. Exactly. That's why I had to give the reference and say you don't know what it is. But I mean, you were still playing Nintendo 64 or a Dreamcast. That's probably the last console you played, Carl. Nathan, I think. We're getting into the realms of I don't even know what a Commodore is. This is the age gap really showing here right now, isn't it? I think Nathan could be so happy, so happy of his performances of late. I mean, 3 Premier League finals, also Europe at the same time as well. He's won on the Euro Tour. He got to the final in Riesa against Dobby Bunting. I say it every single week, but he has silenced all of those people about his inclusion in the Premier League. People saying that it was just for the walk-on, and his reactions are absolutely priceless as well. He is a showman. He has a laugh. He has a giggle at the same time. And I mean, you see performances like that and coming off the stage and seeing him so buzzing and him speaking to Sky at the same time just off the back of that. And I mean, I think he had quite a tough time in Riesa over the weekend because there's a lot of people, a lot of crowd noise, a lot of people whistling. And to do it in front of, I know he's from Stockport, but it's Manchester and it is his home crowd. To do it there, it's... I don't know, as a darts fan like I am, and you being a former darts player yourself, it's just nice to see the homecoming and then the hometown boy picks up the result. Cole, I'm smelling, and I said this to Abigail Davis the other day, I'm smelling a major this year for Nathan Aspinall.
Maybe. Listen, the one thing you have to remember, Harry, is Premier League's great. Premier League's a show. It's fantastic. You're getting anything between 10 and 15,000 people there every Thursday night. The one thing you haven't got, Harry, is another 24, 32, 64 players in it from off of the tour. And therein lies the difference. You've got players that are hungry for majors. I'm certainly not taking anything away from Nathan Aspinall. I'd never do that because, like you just now said, he's a class act. He said last night that he'd never felt so nervous. He wanted to win in front of his own crowd. And he went up there and done it. And he won in front of his home crowd. And that meant a lot to him because he said that was for them as well. That was for the fans as well. But a major is a different ball game, Harry. Like I say, there's other players to take into consideration who we're not seeing every Thursday night. And they're just as hungry as what all of those boys are. And they're also very, very, very capable players. I'm not saying he can't win another major, because he can. He is that talented, and he has got that. He's got that dogged determination. And when he's in full flow, he's an absolute joy to watch, because he can take shots out from anywhere. He can hit the big scores, and that's what you need to win majors. So I'm not going to say no, he's not going to win a major this year. There's every possibility he will. But there are other factors, i.e. other players that have that want to be doing well in the majors, Harry, because that will then possibly give them an opportunity to play in next year's Premier League. They all want to play in the Premier League. It's the biggest show in town when it comes to the darts, you know. I mean, every Thursday night for 17 weeks is absolutely fantastic. It gets you showcase yourself. You showcase your sponsors, promoters, everything. It's massive. I'd say the only thing bigger than it is the World Championships. If someone said to you, what's the one thing you most want to win? If you don't say the World Championships, you're deluded. But
you're a loony.
Well, I wouldn't have gone that far. I'll stick with
I would.
deluded. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to win the World Championships, mate, you're probably in the. Well, you will be. You'll be in the Premier League for at least the next 2 years. So yeah, but listen, he's more than capable of winning a major. Of course he is. He's that good a player. But the thing with Nathan, he doesn't run before he can walk. He'll take and address each opportunity as it comes towards him. And it's just good to see him, like you say, it's good to see him throw some great stuff and justify as to why he's in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I'd just like to go back and say, Cole said deluded, I said loony. They definitely would be an absolute loony tune if they said they wanted to win the Premier League over the Worlds, because, you want to win the Premier League at the same time, but you want your hands on that Sid Waddell trophy. And the only thing that, I love the Premier League, I love the format, I love everything involved in it. The only thing that lets the Premier League down is the trophy, and I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. Luke Humphries then. Cole, it was such a joy to watch Luke play last night. I know he's had such a busy schedule. Surprised that he was playing in Leicester at the Pro Tour through the week. We know that they want to make the Players' Championship at the same time in Minehead as well. But I just really thought that Luke, and I think a lot of people, even in the press room last night, were like so surprised that he actually featured in Leicester this week. So clinical against Stephen Bunting. There was a period, I think it was going into leg 5, where he was averaging 112. Finished the game on the average of 118.43. And I don't know if this is true off the top of my head, just because I heard Mardle shout it from the other room. He went, third highest in Premier League history. Third highest in Premier League history. And I mean, that was Wayne just speaking at his normal voice, but it was just going through about 3 walls.
Not surprised with the size of his gob.
Stephen Bunting's had Luke's number recently at the same time as well. It was a proper dogfight against Luke Littler. It kept going one way or the other, and it was such a joy to watch. It was almost just like, it's a shame that, it couldn't go on for longer, and it could have been a couple of sets for that match, because if that was Premier League final, semi-final format, that Littler and Humphries, I think we would have been treated to a right classic last night. Some of the checking out from Luke as well, I thought was top notch, even at the speed that he was going. Frustrated at times, but nothing too bad, I don't think. Nothing which was really indicating it was beating himself up. Just normal shakes of the head. It wasn't like pure frustration, but the Pro Tour, I just couldn't get my head around the Pro Tour involvement this week. I just thought it was a really questionable decision from Luke, and that's the one thing that's sort of playing on my mind. And I think now is a case, Cole, where the world number one, he'll be disappointed that he didn't win it last night, because I thought that was one of his best performances in a couple of weeks, and it's been a couple of weeks since he actually won a night at the Premier League. But I think a case now and everything that he's been through over the last week where people have just given him dog's abuse, didn't have really great performances over down in Leicester at the same time. Time to go home, kick your feet up, have a pedicure, lay in the bath for 6 hours if you want to, sun shining, Lukey boy, just relax. Have some time away for a little bit.
Harry, do you know what really needs to happen now? Honestly. Sky, ourselves, everyone need to stop talking about what happened just over a week ago. It's gone, it's done, it's dusted. Luke just wants to forget about it now and wants to move on. And I think, Harry, that's why, I think I said last week, the thing with Luke, he's someone, and I mentioned myself on that front, he's someone that supports the tour. He's someone that supports the tour. He'll turn around and say, I'm Luke Humphries, I'm a professional darts player. I'm not going to let anybody dictate to me as and how and what tournaments I do and don't go to. I personally thought it was great. I was down at Leicester. I thought it was great that the world number one was there. I think it just gives that little bit of to the tournament when the world number one was there and the world champ was there in Luke Littler as well. So as much as a bit of tiredness has crept in, he's still very professional about his job and he still went to those 2 ranking events. Okay, they weren't great events for him, but they weren't great events for Luke Littler either, and for another 126, 127 players that were there also. But it was good to see him come out last night. The explosive way that he played against Stephen Bunting was superb in the fact that he wasn't showing any emotions, Harry. There was no facial expressions, there was no hand movements and none of this going on, was there? It was just pure class from the world number one. It was the Luke Humphries who we've got used to seeing, that was dominating for a while, that was winning the majors. Against Luke Littler, 2-0 up. Luke played absolutely fantastic to make it to take a 3-2 lead. Missed double 12, hasten to add, for a 9-darter in that comeback, in that surge of a comeback. But I think it was said last night, these two are going to have some battles for years to come. And at this moment in time, it's a little bit nervy with everything that's been going on. Everything that's happened with Luke Humphries, the backlash of his comments and whatever. It was just a bit of an edgy game last night, a nervy game. Neither of them played at their best. There was flashes of absolute class and brilliance, which we expect from the pair of them. Luke Humphries got through it, and I have to say, the way he come out in that final, I thought to myself, he's just gonna blow Nathan Aspinall away. This could be 6-1, 6-2. It didn't happen that way, but Luke said, and he's right in what he says. Listen, I'm just going to get through the next couple of weeks, and then I've got a nice little break, and I'm going to enjoy time with the missus and the family. And fantastic. Up until then, he will be the professional that he is. He will play in the tournaments, and then he'll have his little break. And I don't think he's got anything to worry about, and nor should he have to worry about anything. The young man's a class act. He's a brilliant darts player. And I, for one, look forward to seeing him for years and years to come, entertaining me now as a washed-up fella, entertaining me on
Don't say that.
On that round segment from 7'9.25", whether I'm at the arena or whether I'm sat at home in a chair watching it, because I enjoy watching him play, as I do enjoy watching any players play, Harry. I just want to get that through to people. I enjoy watching everyone play. Everybody's got their own little quirky way of going about a dartboard, and whether it's the flamboyance and brilliance of the two Lukes, whether it's the dogged determination and brilliance of Nathan Aspinall and Gerwyn Price, all of them. I love watching all of them play, because I just love the game of darts. And I just think if you're a lover of the game of darts, just enjoy it. Enjoy it while it's going on. You don't need to make snippy, narky comments. concerning players as to what they're doing or what they're up to or how they go about things, it doesn't concern you. I always say to myself, it's none of my business what people are saying about Colin Lloyd. You're entitled to your opinion, but you don't need to make sure everyone knows, because a lot of people just ain't interested. So if you ain't got nothing positive to say, best thing to do is keep your trap shut.
Exactly. And I try and keep it positive all the time when I see the players at the same time. It's because everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks as well, I care about these guys. Like, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with them. And like we always say to each other, they're different to any other sports people because they know the value of a pound note. They know what it means to live for the weekend and work 5 days a week, sometimes even 7 days a week. They've all had to graft. And that's what I appreciate from them at the same time as well. Like, I'm not looking for a scoop off anyone. I love them, like, as a fan, as a person. They're top of the range. And, yeah, I just think some of the abuse that some of the guys get is just so unjust, uncalled for. And we don't want to talk about this because we've spoken about it so many times. And I think we are seeing more players struggling. Luke Littler was on talkSPORT this week and said that he is struggling. Cole, for next season, the way that you kind of combat it, I know it's 17 weeks straight, but is there anything that they can implement, especially with Pro Tours, Euro Tours, where the Premier League can, say, be 3 weeks on, and then the fourth week, every fourth week, they have a break or anything like that every 3 weeks? Or is that just impossible because it'll clash with the other bits in the schedule?
You can't do it, Harry, quite simply because, mate, the schedule. The way that things are rotated in and factored in. And I have to say that the Professional Darts Corporation, they do their utmost. They try. The thing you've got to think of, Harry, like what I said just a little while ago, you can't just think about 8 players. You've got to think of the tour as a whole. Now you want to get into and you want to qualify for the Premier League, which is absolutely fantastic. It's great for you. It's great for business for yourself. It's great for marketing yourself, I should say. But unfortunately, Harry, with that goes you're going to get tired because you've got to make your way from, say, Glasgow. You've got to get to Germany for a Euro tour. You've got to make your way from, say, Aberdeen to the Czech Republic for a Euro tour. Or somewhere like that, and unfortunately, mate, that's just the way it goes. As and if and how you want to not play in those Euro tours, then that's down to you. But also, how you've got to think of TV scheduling. You know, you guys know yourself there. You know, your talkSPORT. You try to fit in what you can when you can, and you've got a rotor, and you fit it where you can. If I was to turn around and say to you, no, I can't do this morning, but I could do, say, 4 o'clock this afternoon, you're going to say, well, no, that doesn't really work for us. And so you've just got to... It's a juggling act, Harry. And the PDC do the best that they can. There's opportunities for the 128 players, and they can't just singly say, well, we'll have 3 weeks on, a week off, 3 weeks on, a week off. The logistics of it, mate, just wouldn't work.
Yeah, it just gets a bit too messy at the same time as well. And it probably, it wouldn't work anything out because everything would just be getting crammed together still. But, I mean, if it keeps happening, I know a lot of players, and you said about the world number one, being at the Pro Tour, being at Leicester for Players' Championship, what was it, 11, 12, 10, 11, off the top of my head. Can't remember because there's so many. But, I mean... We're probably going to get more cases of people dropping out of Euro tours and whatnot, but they're professionals, and someone like Luke Humphries is the ultimate professional. On to Luke Littler quickly. I mean, after going 2-0 down to Humphries last night, sublime, Cole. He was sublime. But did you feel like when you were watching those checkouts from Luke Littler last night, he was almost like thrashing at it a little bit? We know that he can be quick when it comes to checking out, but almost there was, because he struggled a little bit on that double 10 last night, Cole. There was a couple of match darts that were missed on that double 10, and I just didn't know because obviously he's quick, he's aggressive. I mean, he's straight out the blocks when it comes to checking out, and it's almost like a camera person's nightmare when someone is like that checking out. But do you think he just sort of didn't compose himself enough last night?
I just think, like I said, when the two leagues seemed to clash, last night was one of those times where it just seemed like it was an edgy game. Like I said, there was flashes of brilliance from the pair of them, but then there was stuff where they probably both rushed themselves into a throw, and that certainly happened with the finishing. I thought Luke Littler against Gerwyn Price was absolutely superb. Excuse me, his finishing was unbelievable. Gezi started coming back at him. Gezi had the 9 dart leg, but he just didn't get phased. And he just got straight back on it. Thought, yeah, that's a great leg, but that's still I'm still 5-2 up, and it's only one leg. And he proceeded, obviously, to win the very next leg to get through the match. But in that game, I thought he looked more composed and a bit more clinical, whereas against Luke Humphries, like I said, I just think it was just an edgy match all round, just a very, very edgy match. And neither of the players were at their best. 93, was it? 95 average, 96 average, whatever. We both know that they're certainly capable of a lot better than that. But it's tough, Harry. It is tough. It's the format as well. A quarter semi and a final all in one night in a high pressurised situation. It's tough going on the players. We're a long way in now. We're over halfway
especially the added pressure you played in your home crowd as well.
Well, yeah. We spoke about that before, mate, didn't we? We spoke about with Gerwyn Price playing in Cardiff. What's he going to perform like in front of his home crowd? And unfortunately for him, he got beaten. It's tough. Sometimes you drift away instead of focusing on your job in hand. It's easy for me to say because I'm sat here now. You can't please everyone. You've just got to be all about pleasing yourself and going about your business in your way. You can't worry about who's over there, which is obviously your home crowd. You want to play well for that. Look at Nathan Aspinall last night. He said, "I've never felt so nervous and so edgy in a dart match in my whole life. Not in a match play, not in the UK Open. 2 big majors that he's won, but he felt more pressure playing in front of his home crowd and trying to win an event for his home crowd."
Yeah.
And sometimes, I know it's hard, but sometimes you have to just switch off for that. You want to entertain it, you want to perform for your home crowd and family and friends and whatever, but you're an individual sports person. You've got to be selfish, and you've just got to worry about as far as the end of your nose, really.
Can't believe we've almost gotten half an hour in and we've not spoken about the return of Michael van Gerwen. My goodness gracious me. I mean, that 111 opening leg against Chris Dobie, it was just proof that Michael wasn't injured. He looked fired up. He looked so fired up, Cole. We had to wait 5 legs for a max, and he was giving it, mate. He gave it a big one after it hit that 180. He was feeling it. 75% checkout rate against Chris Dobie. Asked the question again, what injury, Michael? Got into the Aspinall game, didn't really look 100%. I think we can both say that I didn't really predict Michael to probably actually win a game yesterday, because I thought he was going to be still feeling a bit of discomfort off the back of his shoulder stroke neck injury, whatever it is that's actually wrong with him at the moment, because there's so many conflicting reports that we're hearing. Vincent van der Voort is just spilling all the beans like he always does, and we love him for it. Yeah, I just don't. It's always him, isn't it? He's always dropping Michael's name down the toilet. I know they're really good mates of each other, but he is always revealing stuff about Michael. I don't know if it's a Dutch thing. I don't know if other Dutch players back in your day as well, Cole, were like that as well. But I think it's just a bit of S-housery from all of them. I don't know if Roland Shelton like that back in the day? Yes. Would he reveal stuff? He would. Maybe that's just the way the Dutch...
Joe Watt wrote... How can I say that, Roland? Roland could sometimes be complicated. He could be bloody cranky. But he was my pal, and I love Roland to bits. We travelled the world together. We shared rooms together. We hired cars in America and Canada and whatever together, and going to events and whatever. But listen, you've got people who you know you can trust and rely on. For Michael, that's Vincent, and the little bit of banter that goes on between those two guys is brilliant. And one of mine was definitely Roland, as we're talking on the Dutch side of things. Good people, class people to be around. You always have a good time with them, good bit of fun, good crack and a laugh. But it's actually true. It's true about the shirt. I was with Michael.
It's mental.
I was with Michael down at sat chatting with him down at Leicester during the week. And I just said, how's things and whatever. And he goes, oh, yeah, good. Yeah. I said, how's your back and shoulder and what? He goes, and he just started laughing. He goes, you know how I did it, no? I went, no, I haven't heard. I said, listen, mate, if you've hurt yourself. I said, all I saw was that you'd obviously pulled out of Germany. And he was actually in the venue in Germany. He was there, he was practising, he was throwing, it just didn't feel right. And he started laughing, and there's a fella called Sam. Sam works at Wimborne Red Dragon. He'd taken him some new shirts. And Michael wanted to try one on. So he took off his old shirt and pulled on the other one. Ooh. And he felt something in his back shoulder blade sort of thing go a little bit. And he said, it really hurt. And I said, so you did do it, putting on a T-shirt. I said, slow down, young man, slow down. You're getting to that point now where... You're 35 now, Michael. You can't do the things you used to as a 20-year-old. But no, listen, it was good to see him back. I don't think, I'm going to say it like this. We haven't seen the brilliance of Michael van Gerwen for a long, long time. He's been to one final where we threw some really good stuff. He had the absolute humdinger with Luke Humphries in that match. I don't know. Is his mind drifting away a bit from the darts with the missus and the young family and whatever? I don't know. Michael's still hungry as ever when you chat to him. He still feels as though he's one of the best players in the world, and he's one of those people. If it does click for him, he is devastating. He can be so good. But at this moment in time, there doesn't really seem to be any consistency, Harry, does there? He's a little bit too hit and miss. And against Nathan Aspinall last night, he just wasn't there at all. He didn't have that same about him like he did in his first game with Dobby.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Perhaps he was feeling it a little bit. Listen, go away, get another couple of massages, get a little bit of treatment. And hopefully we'll have him back firing on all cylinders before long.
Will Michael be worried though? Because obviously with Nathan Aspinall winning the night last night, Nathan Aspinall goes into the top four. I know that third to fifth, they're all level on 15 points. But is he kind of licking his lips in a way, especially with... Because he won a game. He won his quarter-final match. Yeah. But with Crossy and Gezi... both losing at the same time in the quarters, is Michael sort of a bit like, I could actually be all right. And especially with missing a week at the same time. Because I tell you what, Carl, we've said it, I want to say for like the last 3 weeks, that battle for fourth spot is going to get very, very interesting. And it's already interesting now. Yeah,
it is getting very interesting. I think... excuse me, I think Rob Cross and Nathan Aspinall will think about it a lot more than Michael van Gerwen. Michael van Gerwen doesn't get stressed, doesn't get edgy, doesn't get nervy about... He's the ultimate professional, is Michael. But Michael will just go... Hey, if I get through, I get through. If I don't, I don't. He just shrugs his shoulders. It's not his know-all and end-all. The thing about it is, if Michael doesn't get to finals night, Michael will be gearing himself up for other things. Match plays, World Series events, Euro tours. Michael, the one thing Michael does very, very well, he doesn't dwell on anything. And that's what's made him such a good, very good, tough opponent and the ultimate professional, because he won't dwell on nothing. And if he has a bad performance, he doesn't really have any excuses, Harry. He doesn't blame any particular thing. He just says, maybe I didn't prepare right. I thought I was prepared, maybe I wasn't. And he doesn't point the finger of blame at anything apart from himself. And so I don't think... Yes, he'll want to be in finals night. Of course he will. He'll want to be there at the very end. He'll want to be in the top 4. But if he's not, Michael's that sort of player where I don't think that won't affect him too much. He's won it 7 times, so why would it bother him? Yes, he'd love to have the opportunity to win it for an 8th, but,
I saw him in the corridor last night and he was in good spirits because we were trying to find some bottles of water, and producer Sue spent £7 on 2 bottles of water. Thank you, Manchester Arena. It was an absolute disgrace.
Wow. Really?
But he came back through and he was speaking to someone, and I was like, I've got to say hello to Michael just to be polite. So, because Michael does that, how we go.
Did you get all butterflies in your tummy? Did you get all nervous?
I love it. I love him. I love him so much. He's my favourite person to interview from any sport ever, apart from you, Carl. And
thanks, mate. Liar.
He was speaking to someone, and I went up into his ear and just went, poo. Because he always said, when he goes like, or he's thinking about something, he always goes, poo. And he was like, bloody hell, hello, mate. God, I didn't expect to see you here. And then we were just having a little chat. I realised that because we had an embrace. Yeah, I find his voice so hard to do. We had a little embrace, and I put my hand on his shoulder, like giving him a hug, and I was like, "Oh God!" I was like really worried that I was actually like touching him because of his shoulder. The rest of it, I couldn't give a crap about. People being, "Are you hugging Michael van Gerwen?" It was like, no, I was actually more thinking about his shoulder. But he seemed in really good spirits. I mean, when I'm in those sorts of situations, I don't talk to him about darts. I just ask him how the family is, and ask him how little Mike's birthday was last week and stuff like that. It's just, you just want to speak to him on like a human level at the same time. But from what I gathered from Michael, especially off the back of that quarter-final, he was in good spirits. And I asked him about Vincent, and he was like shaking his head and laughing at the same time.
But that's the thing about it.
He might have said some words that I'm not allowed to broadcast, but that's the conversation in the corridor at the Manchester Arena between myself and Michael, and no one's going to know about it. But it was all platonic. It was all good fun at the same time. We haven't even spoken about Gerwyn Price and that 9-darter as well, Cole. It was absolutely phenomenal, and Gezi also putting up an 103 average against Luke Littler at the same time. Yeah. The streak is over, Cole. Yeah. It's done. It's dusted. There is no 7-0. I mean, he can go 7-0 if he wins 7 matches on the trot now. Gezi won't be thinking about that too much. Or was it already on Gezi's mind? Because I don't think there's anything that can actually penetrate the skull of Gerwyn Price. He's one of the most headstrong players and doesn't let anyone into his brain.
Game's gone now, mate. He won't dwell on that one little bit. And the nice little perk about it waking up this morning is a £30,000 set of darts in his hand. So solid gold set of darts. So that'd do, wouldn't it? That's sort of like, I don't know why, Harry, but for me, that sort of like eases everything, doesn't it? I lost 6-3. I had over 100 average, but do you know what? I hit a 9-dart leg. Oh well, I got a 30 grand set of darts as well. Oh, boy, poor you.
Whoever's making those gold darts must get a text from BetMGM or, I mean, darts fan, it could be. He's probably just seeing it and just goes, just praying that it doesn't happen again. So he doesn't have to melt them down and the intricacies to make these golden darts at the same time as well, because they look phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, Bobby George will be supplying them with gold before long.
Yeah, I know. It's starting to think, is there a gold shortage going to be happening because everyone's hitting 9 darters at the moment, Cole?
It come out of nowhere though, Harry, didn't it? Really, in all fairness, it sort of come from nowhere. There was little snips of brilliance from Gezi, but soon as he went 180, he looked down for the 57 first because he always does that. Because he's thinking on that is throw the first dart down and the two darts are up the top, so just there and over there. As soon as he hit that 57, I know he's a fantastic double 12 hitter anyway. I thought if he hits his treble 20, this has got a good chance. And if you noticed it, Harry, I don't know if you noticed the leg before, I think it might have been Stuart Pike on commentary, turned around and said he likes this area of the board, he loves this double 12. And he actually lost the leg. He put the dart inside the double 12 by about that much and missed two at double 6.
Yeah.
And then it just literally, as Wayne Marder went pop, pop, pop. And it was just brilliant. And listen, it's always great to see a 9-dart leg. But Gezi would have been happy with that. He was thrown well, but I think I said earlier that Luke Littler in that game, he was clinical. He was clinical in that match. So... Yes, the streak has been stopped, but Gezi won't worry about that one little bit. He won't think about that now. Just one night, isn't it? One night at the office.
Gezi was 5-1 down, though, at the same time.
Yeah.
And then produced that 9-darter to make it 5-2. So, I mean, the nuts on the guy. I mean, he was laughing, he was smiling. I think he looked a bit different last night. Like he'd had like a fresh trim. Might have put in a bit of dye in the old hair as well. He looked slick, old Gezi. He did. He always looks slick. He's always got his shirt tucked in. Always looking.
I don't understand how these people that dye their hair. Do you?
Well, we've actually got quite a similar.
No, I've got more hair than you. My hair's like this because I've had it cut.
Yeah, my forehead is just back here.
Listen,
whereas you've actually...
I'm in my 52nd year of life, look, not one grey hair. Not one. Not one.
Yes.
I'm still a strawberry blonde.
Yeah, we've got similar heads of hair. Can you grow a beard or not, Cole?
Yeah, I just choose to not look that scruffy.
God, he's the mark of professionalism, isn't it?
Have you noticed, though, Harry? Have you noticed? I've got to say this. Have you noticed the amount of people that have like the beard sort of thing that you've got going on? Yeah. Yeah. It's because they're going thin on top. They always seem to do that. They don't. They don't. Well, there you go.
I'm not going that thin.
Like Willow the Wisp. So they grow a beard to make. They grow a beard to take the attraction away from that they're losing their hair.
I've just panned this light next to my computer here so people can have a good see. I'm not... Listen, my forehead's been big since day dot. If you see photos of me when I was in primary school, because when you're in primary school, you get photos with like your siblings and stuff like that. Yeah. I'll send you a photo when we get off this. I had a big forehead when I was about 5. My dad may be bald, my brother may be receding, but I think, what, I'm just going to put it down.
I thought you were just about to say, you want to see my school photos? I had a beard then.
Oh, I had that at the same time as well. I was an early bloomer, Cole. Early bloody bloomer, mate. Everyone was waiting until about 17. I was rocking up to year 5 with a moustache, for goodness sake. Joe, I ran that playground.
I went to the barber's 2 days ago. I said, yeah, just a trim, mate. Always have a number 2 round the side, just a trim. God, he scalped me. And I hate it this short because I can't do nothing with it.
Nah.
You don't have that worry, though,
these days. I just rock out of bed, mate, get in the shower. What products are you using these days? Yeah, you're using a bit of VA5 these days. Shockwave. You strike me as Shockwaves, man.
No, I don't have it. Listen, I use Shockwave. You shouldn't even know anything about Shockwave because you're not that old.
Oh, mate, I know everything.
Yeah,
Dax Wax. You use Dax Wax.
I'll tell you what, I used to use years ago. Why are we talking about this? We should be talking about darts. Anyway, years ago when I was still at school and I had my short hair, remember they used to have the step years ago. Do you remember that? Years ago, I used to have the step. And
I was born in 1996.
And I actually used to use 1996. God, I've been left school 7 years. I used to use a wax. Funny enough, it was called Black and White. Have you ever seen Black and White?
Nope.
My God, honestly, it's horrendous. I used to get up the following morning. I used to just put the hairdryer on my hair, put it all back in place, and it just stick there again because it's set like wax again. It was brutal. The things that you put on your hair, brutal. Anyway, back to the darts.
Listen, before we get into the next one, if Head and Shoulders, if Pantene,
Wash and gone.
If any hair products or Belgravia Centre for hair transplants or anything wants to get in touch and sponsor the show after that wonderful segment on sort of like a bit of salon talk with me and Colin Lloyd, you can feel free to contact us. Chris Dobie last night, not really too much to say about Chris Dobie and Stephen Bunting. It was almost a bit exhibition, obviously the nickname Hollywood at the same time.
Yeah.
Some of the attempted checking out from Chris Dobie, I think he's already got it in his head that he's not going to the O2, and I think he's just trying to pull off these worldy exhibition shots just to give the crowd that little bit of jazz. Do you know what I mean? There was probably a few moments where Michael was probably like, for God's sake, like, you're going doubles. But as a spectator at the same time, who and a player who's pretty much the writing is on the wall for him this season, I mean, you can probably afford to have these outlandish shots.
Well, what I will say, Harry, is the 1-3-2, ball, double 16, that's exactly the right way to go. Because if it's the 25, it can still go treble 19 ball. So, in that sense, he's gone the right way. From 2-0 down, he took out 70, he took out the 100, 20 tops. That made it 2-2. He missed double 19 to go 3-2 up and would have possibly come back, but Michael checked out a crucial 70. He missed double 5 the very next leg. I think it was for a 130 check out, and lost the leg 4. So he was 4-2 down, and he could have possibly been 4-2 up. We've got a completely different game then, because he only lost 6-4, so he got the extra couple of legs. So he could have possibly won 6-4 himself. He took out 126 check out as well, with a 180 in the same leg. There was flashes of brilliance, but for me, Chris is he's been a little bit too inconsistent. He's a little bit too slow out of the blocks for my liking. He's either 1 or 2 legs down as soon as the match starts, and that unfortunately has been his undoing. As for Stephen Bunting, he's been riding the crest of a wave the last couple of weeks. He's thrown some absolute humding and stuff. And do you know what, Harry? To be fair, he didn't play bad last night. The scoreline doesn't talk the game. He's lost 6-1, but he still threw some great darts. He was just unfortunate to walk into 118.5 average. You know, I think anyone would have got done 6-1 last night with 118.5 average.
No, I agree at the same time. And what you got to think about it, this week was Stephen's 40th birthday, so I think we can actually give him a bit of a respite, Cole.
Is that all he is? 40? Wow.
Yeah. He looks older than you. No disrespect to Stephen.
Tough paper round. Must have been uphill both ways. I love Stephen, really. He knows that.
He's phenomenal. I mean, he won the week last week. He won over Risa at the same time. And I mean, I wasn't really expecting him to get off the ground. I was expecting him to put up some decent stuff. Put up a solid 105 average yesterday, but was a really putting him in contention for last night? No, I don't think so. But, I mean, the way that we're going to dissect his game, he's got a nightly win under his belt. I don't think that he's actually going to make the O2, and I think if anyone actually does think he's going to make the O2, like someone like Josh Pearson, who is the biggest Stephen Bunting fanboy, a lot of love to you, Josh, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if Stephen can find that consistency for the remainder of the season, I say season, darts is all year round, it's 12 months long. I'd like to hope that Stephen Bunting can put up a good fight for some majors this year, because what we've seen over the last 9 days, Risa and also in Berlin at the same time, Stephen Bunting can find that form. It's just being consistent. And maybe there's so many different factors that are coming into it at the same time. But before we go into next week, Cole, we need to give a little mention of a Mr. Rob Cross. Starts off some of his opening legs so strong this season, Cole, but it gets to the latter rounds, and we're noticing it a lot recently with Rob. He's just wilting a little bit, and I think that's been the story of his season so far.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it last night. I mean, a 180 in the first leg. He's 7 darts into a 9 darter in the second leg, and he goes on to lose that leg. But obviously that was the clinicalness of Nathan Aspinall. That was, he was 6 out of 6 on the doubles. He's still in with a good shout. He's still in with a good shout to get into the last 4. And the thing about it is, Harry, we say it every time that you can't just give someone a title. You've got to earn it. You've got to win it. And Rob Cross is a multiple major champion, basically. If he's in the last 4 come finals night, there's no reason whatsoever why Rob Cross couldn't be the Premier League champion. Because he has got that class about him. He is that class of player. Going back to Stephen Bunting, if Stephen Bunting was to make any sort of attempt on being into finals night, for me, he's got to win the next 2 weeks. He's got to win the next 2 weeks because that 10 points, excuse me, those 10 points will only put him level with, or around the sort of areas 3 other players that are fighting for the 4th place, or 3rd and 4th place, you could say. That's a lot to try and achieve over the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately for Stephen, he wasn't able to get points on the board. Chris Dobby got points on the board early, but hasn't really capitalised on that. And I think this isn't being disrespectful towards Chris and certainly not Stephen. It's Stephen's first time in the Premier League in 10 years. The experienced players that have played in it before and have done consistently well in the majors over the years, they're the guys that are fighting out at the minute for those 4 spots in London at the O2. They've put in good performances, Harry. They've put in good, solid performances. Well, Stephen Bunting's, he's banged in 100-plus averages week in, week out for some weeks.
Yeah.
And he's got nowhere with it. So it's a little bit unfortunate for him. Chris is he's just been a little bit too hit and miss. I think personally, I look at the players that are in it, Harry. I think they've all earned their place. It's been tough, and it has been tough. Because the thing about it is, Harry, as well, where I'm jumping on again a little bit of the keyboard warriors. What they don't understand is when you're having a tough week in front of the cameras, Harry, you've then got to go to a tour event where there'll be little bits of chitter-chatter on various tables. You won't hear it, but it happens, because of course it happens. It's just part of everyday life. I don't know how he's got in it, playing like the way he is. He's not playing well enough. I don't understand why he's in it and such ain't in it. Yeah, well, it's tough enough. But when you're then trying to go to events, which are like your bread and butter, I've called it to you before, I think, which are the weekend events, the tour events and everything else, when you're getting not the results you want every Thursday, it's tough to stand up, dust yourself down, and then go and compete against where I talk about all the other people on the tour. Because they want a piece of you. They want a piece of the action. You stick a big bullseye on your back and they want to throw darts in it. Not literally, obviously, but, they want to justify to the powers that be as to why they should be being looked at and why did you pick him. Me, personally, I thought it was a good 8 this year. You could probably have a little chitter-chatter about a couple of players, maybe. Did other people deserve it? Listen, they didn't get it. And don't think for 1 minute that the PDC didn't discuss all of that, because they did. And listen, I think for Bunty now, and especially for Dobby, just enjoy what's left. Enjoy what's left. Go up there, enjoy yourself. And if it's a case of Harry with Dobby going double, go ball double 16, double 18 or whatever, go up and do it. Flaunt yourself. Go up there and have fun. And just enjoy the moment, because you never know, you might not get up there again. I'm not saying they won't, but they might not get up there again. So just enjoy it.
Just try and get those golden darts at the same time as well. We've still got a couple of weeks left, and if you're out of contention, which they're most likely going to be, and are for the O2, just try and hit 9 darters in every leg that you play in. So you got a little bit of gold for the mantelpiece. Listen then, off the back of night 10 Manchester, this is the Premier League table. Luke Littler remains at number 1 on 28 points. Luke Humphries second on 23. Gerwyn Price third on 15. Nathan Aspinall makes it in to that playoff spot in fourth. Nightly winner, 15 points. Level with him, Gezi, is Michael Van Gerwen, who drops down to 5th, also on 15 points. 6th, dropping down, is Rob Cross on 12 points. Come on, Crossy. 7th is Chris Dobie on 7 points. And Stephen Bunting, 8th with 5 points. Right, 9-11, April 17th, Rotterdam. Quarterfinals are as followed. Chris Dobie versus Luke Humphries, Gerwyn Price versus Nathan Aspinall, Stephen Bunting versus Michael Van Gerwen in his home crowd, Luke Littler versus Rob Cross. Cole, quick fire prediction, please. Who's coming out on top? Will Michael Van Gerwen win his first night on home soil?
No.
Oh, cheers, Cole. Thanks. Might as well just wrap up and just say goodbye to everyone. Have a good weekend, and we don't speak to each other until next Friday.
Like and subscribe to what's down below, and you forgot that bit. No.
Why is Michael not doing it next week?
Listen, the thing about Michael, if there's anything that could get Michael's blood boiling and his juices flowing, it'll be performing in front of his home crowd. And, trying to get up there and get the job done. If he can just be a little bit more consistent, Harry, just get a little bit of consistency going, who's to say he won't win the night? It's going to be a loud crowd. They love their darts in Holland. And, listen, it would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it, for Michael? And that might actually kickstart his year if he can put in the performances that he knows he's capable of in front of said home crowd. But for me, the likes of Humphries, Aspinall, Littler, Gezi Price, they're playing better than Michael Van Gerwen is at the minute, and they're playing better consistently than what Michael is at the moment. So I think it's a battle of. I mean, I can see Humphries beating Dobie. Price and Aspinall could be an absolute humdinger.
That's major for the qualifying as well. That's major for the top 4.
Yeah, I mean that's a good weekend. That's a good weekend. That's a good week next Thursday. That could be cracking. I'm gonna pick the winner will come from the bottom half. Humph, MVG, Littler, Cross. I think the winner will come from that area.
That's it for this week. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel just down below. We'll keep you up to date with all of the Premier League darts news and also news across the entire sport. And next Thursday, Rotterdam, there will be a live stream of all of the action from our incredible team. See you then. And now it is time to say goodbye to Colin Lloyd. Goodbye, Cole.
Toodles!